if you are watching this right now, you might be nervous about your writing, and so this is designed to help you. This is called PEAR Writing 1. It's 4 parts of a paragraph. PEAR Writing is a way to practice writing muscular paragraphs. Muscular paragraphs, just like if you're a weightlifter, you know, you want to have big muscles. Paragraphs that actually do things, that are full of content, are muscular paragraphs. And this is just a way to format your paragraphs so that it includes something that's going to strengthen your argument, which is what you're working on right now with your National History Day essays. So paragraphs start with a point. The point is the topic sentence. It's the main idea. Maybe it's one of your claims. Maybe it's going to establish some background, but it lets your reader know what they can reasonably expect to learn by reading the paragraph. Something that you want to constantly communicate as a writer is that you care about your reader. You don't want to confuse them. You don't want to mislead them. You want to be able to read your writing from a reader's perspective, so you can say, yeah, I can see why this is happening, or I understand where this fits in. What you're doing is you're letting your reader know where whatever evidence you have fits into your larger argument. If your argument is that Jackie Robinson transformed baseball, and you have a piece of evidence, then the way that you write your paragraph is going to let your reader understand why this piece of evidence proves your point, why it proves the claim that you're making, and how that claim will ultimately support your thesis statement, which is bold and interesting and not simple. So the P is the point. This is a very simple example. It is raining outside. Okay? I will expect probably if I'm reading a paragraph and it starts with "it is raining outside" to read something about rain outside. And this one starts right away with a piece of evidence from Buzz Lightyear. And I can't believe it. The water, it just keeps falling from the sky. Now, in this case, this is a verbal quote. This is something that Buzz Lightyear said. A quote does not have to be a verbal quote. Anything that's a piece of writing that you find in your research, when you put it into your paragraph, then it becomes a quote. Something important about the evidence. Look at the length of my paragraph. This is a very simple paragraph. This is how big my quote is. Okay? It's like 10%, 25% of my paragraph. The rest is analysis. Analysis is where I let my reader know, okay, so how does that quote fit in with my point? Oh, Mr. Lightyear's first-hand account helped me determine that it was, in fact, raining. Moreover, the way that Mr. Lightyear answered the question got me thinking about the intensity of the rain. All right, so I'm showing the reader how the evidence fits in. I'm showing the reader what does it do to me? What does it make me think? And then my response is, so what? Implications. That's a word I've talked about before. Your point is valid. What does it have to do with anything? How long has it been raining? Is it a good thing, all this rain? I know some parts of the country are experiencing serious drought. Okay, how long does it take? All right, ask questions. It's great to ask questions in your writing. Here's a more advanced example that's really closer to history. Duke Ellington was born into a world. Okay, so here's my point. I'm expecting to see something about dominant white culture and how they perceived African Americans as culturally inferior. Okay, and here is my evidence. Okay, this could come as no surprise. Slavery. Now, notice that this piece of evidence is not a quote. Your evidence does not always have to be a direct quote from a source. Sometimes it's just a piece of information. And notice there's not a citation for this one because it's really pretty common knowledge. Slavery was not outlawed in the United States until 1865. And then here is my research quote. This is from a researcher. This is not something that someone said in a conversation. This is something that came from a research article that I read. There exists a little recognition that African Americans, okay, and here is my analysis. And in this way, many American, saw a distinct line between cultures. We can call this line the color barrier. So what I've done for my reader is define this thing called the color barrier. And I let them know that I'm going to be examining this color barrier later. And that's my response. So my response is like, okay, so what? How does this fit into the bigger, who cares? Well, I care because part of my argument relies on this thing called the color barrier. And I have just defined it, and I've just given evidence for it drawn from a credible source that it actually existed, right? Nobody has to believe what I say. So here's some other advice for points and evidence and how do you actually punctuate your evidence. This is important. There's two different ways that I like to do it. One of them is a no colon strategy. The other one is a colon strategy. Analysis, response, okay? What is it? It might answer the question, why did you choose this piece of evidence? What does it have to do with your argument? And then your response. Here's this word, implication. This word is not part of your vocabulary. You should get it in there, all right? So that's a little overview of pair writing that I hope is very helpful to you as you work through your essay today.